It is a fascinating story of Ruth Rappaport, who escaped Nazi Germany as a teenager and spent her entire life fighting censorship. The author of this awesome book is joining us now live in the studio, Kate Stewart. Great to have you here, Kate. So let's talk about a well-read woman.
Yeah, it's a story about a woman named Ruth Rappaport, who she escaped Nazi Germany as a teenager. While she was living in Germany, she read banned books, especially by Jewish authors. She herself was Jewish, and that was her way of trying to make sense of, what did it mean to be a Jew? Why was all this anti-Semitism happening in Germany? And that was a really profound experience with her that she wanted to share with other people later in her career when she became a librarian. She wanted to offer that experience to other people. She became a librarian for the military and went to Vietnam in the early 60s, and she built up this huge library system from scratch, and what she wanted to do was to give the troops this chance to read about the war that they were in, to know about the anti-war movement that was happening at home, and to read books by other people who'd gone through wars in the past, and to help them kind of get through that experience.
How did you first learn about her?
I was working at the Library of Congress many years ago, and my coworker invited me to an estate sale. This was his friend Ruth, who had died recently. And he told me all these stories about her, the ones that I've told you, plus, she lived in Israel during the 1948 war and worked as a journalist there. And so I was captivated by these stories and wanted to know more about her life, how she survived all these things, and her career as a librarian, because I'm
of course,
also a librarian
right, exactly. So there's that bond there between the two loves. So when it comes to all of the documentation that you had to go through, I can imagine it was quite the process, pretty time consuming, probably more than writing the book, maybe even.
Yeah, my coworker Peter, he found in her basement all these diaries and letters that she had saved from her life. I went to archives. She lived all over the U.S. as well, so I went to several different places to find out more about her. I went to Europe twice and then to Israel once, and it was just a lot, thousands of pages of documentation to put together to make a coherent story about her life. There was a lot of fascinating things that popped up while I was doing the research.
I would imagine too, just being where she was pretty cool.
Yes, to kind of follow in her footsteps. That's one reason I wanted to go, for instance, to Leipzig, where she grew up, to Switzerland, to Zurich, where she spent a year as a foster child, then to Jerusalem. And it really helped me visualize, what she had been through, and to help me kind of write a more vivid story.
And what would you like people to walk away with when they read your book?
I want them, first of all, to know more about the work of librarians, what they do for people every day. I also want, Ruth didn't want to talk about her life that much. It wasn't until pretty soon before she died that she started telling people about all of her amazing life stories. And I think for a lot of older people, they may not want to, talk so much about it. And I think that's something that we should do. We need to listen to the stories.
Well, you compiled all of these stories and put them into one great one. So thanks so much for being here, Kate. And Kate Stewart has a free event that is happening at the Dusenberry-River Library on Thursday, May 30th. It happens at 6 p.m. She'll be talking about her book, and she'll be signing copies. If you'd like more information, you can visit kate-stewart.com.